Okay, so we are live apparently. And Backwoods is up here. What's going on, my brother?
What's up, man?
Oh man, just sharing a little news with the community today, a little incident I had. Let me say hello
Uh,
to the chat real quick and we'll dig into it. Honestly, I was just bored. There wasn't a whole lot going on. I hung out with Grumpy Acres for a while. They were live, and I was like, I got some talking I want to do, so I'm gonna just go live. Why not? Let's see. We got Betty. We got Ghost. POTB was here earlier. Tiger. Yeah, Tiger. You were one of my first members. I wondered why all of a sudden it said new member again. So yeah, but thanks for squaring that away and welcome back, Betty Daly. Let's see who else we got. Probably not gonna have a lot of people tonight because it's kind of like a weird night and a weird time, and I did this kind of really quick, but it is what it is. So can everybody hear me? Because this thing just now popped up that said you are live. Have I been live like for like a minute, or did it just now go live?
no, you're live.
Man, the internet is like really weird
You're
over here. I had to
you're
switch
five,
laptops.
you're 5 by 5.
All right, cool. Keto, what's going on, Jess? Yeah, yeah. So the title of it is "Don't Tell Me What I Can or Can't Do," and that's like a pet peeve of mine. I hate it when people just walk up and they go straight Karen mode and they start the conversation with "you can't." Look, number one, there isn't a whole lot that I can't do. I can't go to the moon. I can't go to Mars. I'm not an astronaut. You know, to walk up and tell me that I can't go over Niagara Falls in a barrel, well, it might be illegal and it might not be a smart move. It don't mean I can't do it.
All
You know,
right.
so don't walk up and tell me what I can or can't do. And another pet peeve of mine is when people start the sentence with "you need to this" or "you need to do that." No, you don't tell me what I need to do. You can make a suggestion in an adult fashion, but don't start the conversation off with "you need to do this" or "you need to do that." You want to talk about just for some reason those two intros to a conversation, "you can't" or "you need to," just light my fucking fire, man. It's like, what? I'm grown,
All
you
right.
know? You can't walk up and smack a cop in the mouth. Oh, I totally can. Is it a smart move? No, but it don't mean I can't do it. You know what I mean? So it's just like it's. I don't know, man. For some reason, Grandma Merkel, what's going on? Tall Oaks, hello. For some reason, man, here in last, I don't know, 4 or 5 years, maybe a decade or so, there are people on the planet that they feel like it's their mission to critique how you live your life and what you can or can't do and what you need to do or what you don't need to do. Man, people, mind your own fucking business. You know, I mean, it's different if it's like constructive criticism from a friend. And
Mm-hmm.
if you and I were talking and I was talking about a situation and you said, you know what, Ghost, what you need to do, that's you presenting me with an option. That's not you telling me how I need to conduct myself in public. You know what I mean? So it's like, and that was the whole lead up. Hey, Cherokee, what's going on? That was the whole lead up to this live stream tonight. Because for a lot of you that know, that heard my last live stream or a couple of streams, I had an incident at the school where I worked where a student tried to poison my service dogs, tried to feed him hand sanitizer. And it ended up to where I just said, I'm out, see ya. And I moved on to 2 or 3 different schools, and my schedule was full within 12 hours because I, at least in my opinion, I think I do a pretty good job at what I do, independent what's going on. So there's this big issue going on with this deal, and my stress level is still through the roof, and I'm triggered as shit about it because I'm having to talk about it every day because everybody's asking. You know, the kids at the school that I left are communicating through another teacher. I mean, they're crying, they're freaking out. You know, everything's chaos and it sucks, but I can't put myself or Buddy back in that situation, having to be around this child when there were no repercussions for his actions, and what he did was a felony. You know, and I'm doing the charges tomorrow. I've already got a time set up to get this stuff done. What's up, Native? What's up, brother? But
What's
yeah,
up?
the reason I did the stream tonight was I wanted to share an incident that happened because one of the teachers that I'm friends with at the school that I used to work at, um, I had her go in my classroom and get Buddy's bed and some of the stuff that I had left there, and bring it to me. And she texted me because every day at school, her daughter, who is in middle school, I think she's 7 or 8, she always comes, or her daughter's in elementary. She always comes to the middle school and she plays with Buddy every afternoon after school. I mean, I turn Buddy loose in the hallway and she runs him up and down the hallway and completely wears him out. So when I bring him home, he's ready to crash. And so, and her daughter's like really attached to Buddy. So when I quit working at this certain school, her daughter was all upset. But her mom is the one that had Buddy's stuff. And she texted me and she's like, "You want me to drop it off at your house?" I'm like, "Well, I forgot I was supposed to pick it up today." She said, "Well, her daughter had a basketball game." FSP, what's going on? Welcome. Her daughter had a basketball game at the local Parks and Recreation Center here in town. And I'm like, "Well, I'll just swing by there and pick it up so I can see your kid and she can see Buddy and they can play and all that good stuff." Because she's so upset that I'm not at the school anymore. I mean, crying, says she hates everybody at the school because they ran Buddy off and me off and this and that and the other. So I roll up into the Parks and Recreation, okay? Pull up in the parking lot, got out, me and Buddy, we go in the door. And this is a true story, guys. All right, number one, I'm walking into a building I've never been to before in my life. So I'm already, you know, I'm alert. I'm paying attention to everything. I'm hyper vigilant. So I'm going into the building, even though I know I have friends there. So I'm going into the building, and there's probably 40 or 50 people there watching the basketball game get started. So I get into the door. I see the teacher. Her daughter runs over and gives Buddy a big old hug at the door, and they're doing their thing. So I get approached. Some guy walks up behind me, and he goes, "Excuse me, sir, you can't." That's how he started this sentence, and I had my back to him. I didn't even know what he was going to say, but when he started the sentence with those two words, "You can't," dude, it triggered me. It triggered me. And his thing was, "I'm sorry, sir, you can't come in here with that dog." And I'm triggered. I turn around and look at him. I said, "Really?" He goes, "Yeah, you can't." I'm like, "Because I just did. I'm in here. You're telling me I can't come in here with this dog, yet I'm in here with this dog." "Yeah, but you can't." No. And I told him, I said, "Man, look, stop right now. Stop talking, because number one, you're embarrassing yourself. Number two, you're trying to start an ignorant conversation to which you have no part in being in. And number three, everything that's coming out of your mouth right now is illegal because you are impeding me from living my life. I'm a disabled veteran. I'm a disabled human being with a service dog. There's only 5 places on the planet this dog can't, or excuse me, 5 places in the United States of America that this dog can't go. Is this a restaurant? No. Okay. Is this a private residence? No. Okay. Is this a courthouse? No. Okay. Is this a hospital operating room? No. Okay. Is this the kitchen area of a restaurant? No. Okay. Those are the only 5 places he can't go. Period. It's the law. If I go, he goes. That's all there is to it. And he kept trying to run his mouth, and I politely as possible said, "Look, stop talking, because everything you're saying right now is ignorant, wrong, and illegal. So go away, Google it, Google the ADA laws regarding service dogs, and then if you want to come back and apologize and have a normal conversation, we can." So he walks away. I just dismissed him, and he walked away. About 45 seconds, maybe a minute later, and this is happening around the teacher that I used to work with, and her husband, and a few other teachers, and a couple of students that came from the school that I used to work with to meet up so they could see me and Buddy. So then he sends his boss, I guess, over this larger, older gentleman, and he did the same thing. He said, "Excuse me, sir." Now, he was polite. They both were. They were polite. Maybe it was because I outweighed them by 60 pounds. I don't really know. They were polite, and they both started with, "Excuse me, sir," but he was, "Excuse me, sir, you can't." And I just put my hand up. I said, "Just stop right now. Just stop." I said, "Do us both a favor. You got 2 choices. Either go Google the laws regarding a service dog and the Americans with Disability Act, because it's a federal offense to keep talking that shit that you're talking to me right now." I said, "or save us both some time and just call the cops, and they can explain it to you while they're putting you in handcuffs. Either way, it doesn't matter to me." And then he opened his mouth, and I was like, "Stop. You're not going to win this fight." He said, "I'm not trying to fight." I said, "I know you're not, but you're not going to win what you're saying right now. I've already won 3 lawsuits for this exact same thing. If you want to be number 4, let me know. I have my attorney on speed dial. It's not a big deal." Okay. And he goes, "Well, what I'm going to need you to do," and I was like, What? He goes, what I'm going to need you to do is if you can just stand over on this side of the gym over by the door. That way everybody else feels. I said, I don't give a shit how everybody else feels. I don't care if they're comfortable. And I'm not going to stand in a predetermined space that you say I have to stand in to be able to function. And I finally looked at him. I said, do you know what this is beside me? He goes, it's a dog. I said, no, it's not. I said, it's a service dog, which is classified by the VA as a prosthetic. So you're telling me that if I came up to this public place wearing a prosthetic leg, are you going to make me take off my fake leg and lean it on the wall outside the building and hop across the gym on one leg? And he looked at me like I was being ignorant. I said, no, answer me. Are you going to do that? If I roll up here in a wheelchair, are you going to make me get out of the wheelchair and have somebody carry me to the bleachers? Well, obviously not. It's the same thing in regards to a service dog. And he tried to say something. I said, look, I see your office right here with the big glass window face. I see a computer. Go Google the ADA laws and come back and talk to me if you have anything else to say. I said, other than that, get out of my way. And I walked right through him and went on down to the gym with the rest of everybody and sat down. Now, my blood pressure was through the roof. I was triggered beyond belief. And Buddy is steady punching me with his nose. You know, he's letting me know he's alerting the whole time. And I'm like, it's cool, bro. I got it. Calm down. Play with the kids. I'm good. But yeah, the ignorance surrounding service dogs and what you can and can't say to somebody is beyond belief. If you own and operate a business, or you're in charge of say parks and recreation gym or something like that, if you're in charge of any area in the country that allows the public to come in, whether you charge money to get in or not, if the public is allowed in any capacity, then service dogs are allowed in any capacity. So for you, the minute you open your mouth and you block my entry and you tell me I can't, you are guilty of discrimination. You are guilty of robbing me of my right to exist and function in society. And it just blows my mind how people want to go, oh, you can't. Look, number one, if you're going to walk up to somebody with a legitimate service dog, I goddamn guarantee you there's a 9,000% chance they know more about the law than you ever will in regards to a service dog. So the smartest thing you can do is go up and inquire. Hey, I've never had a service dog come in here before. I'm not sure how this works. And I will be more than happy to explain the law to you word for word, verbatim, and bring you up to speed. And I will not be offended at all. But when you walk up and you're talking out of your fucking ass and you're going to come at me and try to tell me what I can or can't do, what I can do is whoop the shit out of you. Will I go to jail? Yeah. Don't mean I can't do it. You know, and it's people, yard dog, what's going on? It blows my mind out. People just want to overstep. And I understand if you're in charge of that area and there's kids and there's families, I understand that you want to make sure this isn't a rabid dog. And you guys haven't met Buddy yet, but you will. But you don't approach somebody that way, man. You walk up, and if you don't know what you're talking about, you let that be known up front. Hey, I've never encountered a service dog before. I'm not sure how this works. I'll tell you, and then you can go Google it. And you can verify it, and we can live happily ever after. But to walk up and start a conversation by offending someone, are you kidding me? That's like walking up to somebody that's obviously mentally handicapped and going, you know, so exactly how dumb are you?
Right.
You know what I mean? And that's not only is it rude, it's just that's a good way to get checked really quick. Angela B, what's going on?
What's
So
up, everybody in chat?
it was just, man, you know, I've had a hell of a day, bro. First day back at a school I hadn't been to in 6 months. So Buddy got put through the ringer. You know, it was like a fucking homecoming dance. It was a blast. I mean, I had a ball all day long. But then to go there and some cat just jump up in there and be like, you can't, man. If you start a conversation with me, but you can't, there's no fucking way it's going to end well. Not for you.
Right.
You know?
Right.
Nikki. Right. Yes, it was just, so I just figured I'd pop on here and share it because I hadn't told anybody about it since I got home. I'm like, let me go ahead and vent on this and maybe my blood pressure will check down because every 15 minutes I'm replaying it in my head, you know, on should I have said this different? You know what I mean?
Well, that's what I mean. Anytime, man, you're needing to just let it out and calm
Right.
down a little bit. Obviously, my phone's always open to you, but
Oh yeah.
I'll jump up here and listen to you, brother.
And
Shit.
I just kind of thought it'd be kind of good to maybe share this stuff on YouTube because there are a lot of people that don't understand how service dogs work and the actual what I can and can't do with a service dog. I just listed to you the only 5 places he can't go. If it's not court, a restaurant, a hospital, a private house, or a church, shut the fuck up and move out of my way. Those are the only 5 places he's not allowed to go. And the church and the court and the private residence are up for debate. All he has to do is have permission. So there's only 2 places he legitimately can never go. That's in the actual kitchen of a restaurant and what was the other one? And an actual sterile environment in a hospital. Everywhere else he can go.
Right.
It's up to the judge's discretion, the preacher's discretion, and whoever owns the house or the private property that I'm trying to go on to. Those are the only 2 places that he legit cannot go. So when you walk up to me at your gym in the Parks and Recreation talking about you can't bring it, man, shut the fuck up. Don't even, come on, man. So, and that's the thing. I mean, how are you going to walk up to somebody with a service dog knowing that you're talking out of your ass and even bother opening your mouth? Don't do it. Just don't, take a minute, get your phone out, Google it, and make sure that you're not sounding like a 2-year-old. What's up, Nikki?
Hey, man. Sorry, I just popped on. I didn't even know you were live, but when I heard the discussion, Jeremy was listening as I was listening to what you were saying, and Jeremy was like, "Oh, fuck that! A service dog can go pretty much anywhere."
Anywhere. Pretty
Yeah,
much anywhere.
pretty much anywhere.
By the way, the dog on the thumbnail, that's one of Buddy's pups from one of the litters that expired before I got him.
I don't even think I saw the thumbnail. I just happened to look down at my phone because we were hanging out and chilling, and I was like, "Oh my God, he's live!" But then I heard what you were saying, and Jeremy was like, "Oh, that's fucked up. A service dog can pretty much go anywhere, anywhere."
And incidents like today have happened to me several times. Not a whole lot because I don't go out much. I mean, I don't do restaurants.
Right.
I go shopping. I get the groceries. I go to the gun store. I get the freedom seeds. And I go to school. That's it. So I don't really go to a lot of places. But usually when I do, out of every 10 places I go to, at least 50% of them, I get a little bit of pushback or a little bit of blowback.
Really?
Oh yeah, it happens a lot. Yeah. I mean, it happens a lot. It happens more to people that I went to school with because I'm still in touch with the people that I went to the school with when I got Buddy. There was 13 of us that graduated and got service dogs, and we kind of share issues that they've had. And a lot of them have a lot of more issues than I do. And I think it's because of the way they have. Look, I don't like walk through doorways. I don't enter rooms. I blow through the door like I own the fucking place. I don't walk into it, especially if it's somewhere I'm uncomfortable with. I'll walk into it like I paid the rent last month. You know what I mean? I try my best to be confident about everything I do, even if it's a bad choice. You know what I mean? Because that just says something about how you carry yourself. And number one, honestly, it cuts down a lot of needless bullshit conversation with people that I don't even want to talk to in the first place. If I blow through like I own that motherfucker, they kind of just like, shy back. It cuts down a lot of needless bullshit questions that I really don't want to answer in the first place. But with Buddy beside me, obviously, especially if there's kids around, they want to interact, and that actually helps me with my issues because he kind of forces me to be nice and interact with people, which is kind of cool. But yeah, it was. I had issues. Leslie,
I had a question, like, because I just don't know, but like, is there like a marking, like a patch that the service dog wears, or?
Here's the thing: the whole service dog laws they need to be changed because people go, "Is he registered?" Well, there's no such thing as a service dog registry legally. There's a guy on the internet that had a really good idea, and he decided to start a service dog registry. And if you mail him a picture of your dog and you promise that he was trained really, really well, he'll send you this bullshit laminated license. that says you're a National Service Dog Registry. A guy on the internet made that up, and he's getting fucking paid from it. But honestly, there is no such thing as a service dog registry. I wish there was. Excuse me, I wish there was, but there isn't. And there's no law requiring him to even wear a vest.
Right.
All I have to do, all I have to do is let anybody that asks, all I have to do is let them know he's a service dog. But if it's a real service dog, he will be wearing a vest, because the vest is his signal that he's working. When I put it on him, and you guys will see it at the meetup, when I put his vest on, or when you see him with his vest on, he's all business. It's no play. But if I take his vest off, he's a normal dog. He's running around doing dog stuff. You know, so the vest is his signal that he's going to work. You know what I mean? So I've never taken him out in public without his vest, because when we go out, he's working. But yeah, so there's no law saying that you have to have a vest on. You just have to identify him as a service dog. I wish there was a law saying that it needed to be identified. It would make it easier on everybody.
Well,
Rainy Steps, what's going on? Thank you so much. Very much appreciated.
Pretty much feel like that's the thing in Texas, because every time we see a dog with a vest on, you know not to you don't just walk up to that. I mean, that's a service dog, and it's a dog. It's got a vest. It's working, and that's the thing. And yeah, you don't interact with that.
Yeah, a lot of people get confused. It's not wrong to pet a service dog. Every service dog can be pet by anybody. The thing is, you have to ask permission from the handler, me, because I have a specific command that I give him, and it lets him know that he's on a break. And when I give him that command, his tail will start wagging, and he will walk up to you. He will acknowledge you. You can pet him, he'll lick your hand, and then he'll back away and sit down. I treat him, and then we're back to work. It's a quick 10, 15-second break. You know, he does it multiple times a day at school, because the kids always want a pet. But it's a specific command, because I let him know it's time to take a break, so he doesn't get confused. If random people just walk up and start playing with him when he's wearing the vest, eventually in his brain, he'll unplug from the fact that the vest means he's working. When the vest is off, it's playtime. So if you those two things,
Kentucky Survival a while ago asked a question, said, if you fly or travel by train, do you have to buy an extra ticket for the dog?
No.
He's part of me. He is a prosthetic device. He is a wheelchair. He is a false leg, false arm. He is nothing extra.
Okay.
No, it's literally, that's what I'm saying. Like, I've gone through many oh God, we've had calls out to the mall, like in the Woodlands, you know, people got pissed off because somebody with the service dog was there, and they were like, no, you cannot walk up to my dog and just think you can just pet him. And you can't. The dog is a working dog. That's what I'm saying.
When I first got Buddy, I think I'd had him for like 3 weeks, and I was at Walmart. Can't remember what I was doing, but I was on an aisle, and I'm looking at something, and he's beside me in the heel sit position right beside me. And there was a dude 2 or 3 feet from us on the left, him and his wife. There was a dude 2 or 3 feet from us on the left, and he just didn't think nothing of it. And his buddy's got his big vest on him, 3-inch letters, "Do not pet, service dog." He reached down and started petting.
Oh shit!
I drilled him right in the chest. I full on thought I was going to get arrested for assault or something, and it was just reflex. I dropped him right there. I mean, right in the chest, right in the solar plexus. Put him on his ass right there in the aisle. And I'm like, I know you can fucking read, because you're reading the shit that you're looking at on the wall. What does the vest say? And he was like,
"Don't touch my dog." Right.
Have a nice day. And I walked off, and I never heard anything else about it. And then a couple weeks after that, I'm in line paying for groceries at Walmart again. I'm in line. Oh my God, it was the most messed up thing in the world. I'm sitting there, and it was this big cluster F, and it was before COVID, when everybody wasn't scared to be within 6 feet of you. So everybody's in line. They're all on top of each other paying for stuff. And this dude just starts petting Buddy. And I don't know why I did this. I don't know where it came from, but it was like the most awesome thing I've ever done in my life. I just reached over and started petting his wife. on her head.
Jesus.
It was just, you know, she kind of draws back and draws away, and he looked at me like I'm crazy. I'm like, it kind of sucks, doesn't it? He goes, what do you mean? I said, you invade people's boundaries.
Yeah, don't pet my dog.
You know, at least he had a vest on that says "Don't pet." Get your wife a shirt that says "Don't pet," and I won't pet her.
Native's got a question.
Oh my gosh, that's
What kind of
funny.
treats does Buddy get? Buddy eats, all Buddy eats is his dog food, and then his treats all day long are Cheerios, not Honey Nut, just regular Cheerios. And then every night at 8 o'clock, he gets a carrot.
Oh, loves his carrots, right?
Oh,
Yeah.
he goes nuts over a fucking. He will hurt somebody over a carrot.
Oh,
Yeah, that's his thing. Yeah, he's never had people food. You know, so everybody coming to the rendezvous to meet up, if you know everybody's cooking, don't offer many people food. He's not going to beg for it. I can sit down right beside him on the bed with a T-bone steak, and he won't even look at my plate. It'll be 3 inches from his face. He won't acknowledge it at all because he's never had people food. You know, he's got his diet. He's good with it, and it's a beautiful, perfect diet. I mean, I've had him for 4 years now. Like, I can go through a dog park. If we were at a dog park and there was like 200 piles of dog shit, I can show you which one's his. Literally, I mean, it looks the same. It's consistent. It's always hard. It's never runny. It's never soft. He's healthy as shit. You know, and that's real important for your animals. I mean, if they're on a consistent diet, their digestive tract and everything gets used to what they're eating, and it gets regular. I mean, he shits and pees at the same time every day. It's like clockwork, you know?
Right.
But yeah, it's like anonymous anomaly 2600. What's going on? Him and Hutch will be fighting over the carrots. You're probably right. Yeah, he's had it. He did a little bit of broccoli, a little bit of cauliflower. But I mean, if you put one carrot and you buried it under a mountain of cauliflower and broccoli, he would scratch all that shit off the top and go for the carrot. Yeah, man, a carrot is his thing. That's his deal every day. Plus, it's really good for cleaning his teeth. So, yeah, he loves his carrot, man. But I mean, it's like, if you've never been around a service dog, it's kind of really good. And YouTube has some amazing videos and information about service dogs. Like where I got him from, the best that the dog's wearing in the thumbnail, Southeastern Guide Dogs. They have an amazing YouTube channel, like some of the most kick-ass videos, education tutorials, how dogs are trained, everything. It's a badass channel. If you guys have never seen it, if I have any mods in here, if you could drop the link for Southeastern Guide Dogs YouTube channel, it's an amazing channel. I mean, they're awesome. I mean, they have an aquatic center dedicated to the dogs. The dogs have their own Olympic-sized swimming pool where they have 3 vets on staff 24/7. They each work 8-hour shifts. It's their campus. Yeah, their campus where they train. And it's like, Buddy, they didn't buy. Nikki, you got an echo. They didn't buy Buddy.
I haven't done anything.
You got an echo, Nick.
Oh shit! I haven't done anything different. I've just been sitting here.
They didn't buy Buddy like a lot of schools do. A lot of schools will get their dogs from somewhere else in a pound or whatever and train them. Like Buddy was genetically bred at the school. Like he was genetically, they choose the father, the mother dog based on their behavior, their disease resistance, their hip dysplasia, things like that. And they specifically choose dogs that chart off the scale on the genetic. They genetically test all their dogs. They choose dogs that score off the charts, and they breed those dogs, and that's where they get the puppies that they breed. He was genetically bred at the school. He was raised at the school. You know, he was raised by puppy trainer at the home site, and then I got him from the school. Yeah, so it's a serious. They have 6 years ago they had a $9 million operating budget, and it was all based on donate. All donate. Yeah. Fish sticks. Kentucky. Well, I mean, I hear you, Kentucky, and that's the thing with anybody with pets. I mean, just thank you, Miss.
That's
Nick,
bad.
you still got an echo, Nick.
Do what? You know what? I'm gonna shut that off. You know what? It's fine. Is that better?
Yeah.
Okay. It
Um,
was on. Okay.
yeah, Kentucky. Like here's the thing. I mean, going up and just randomly petting someone's animal is like just going up and randomly picking up somebody's kid and hugging them. What the fuck's wrong with you? Why would you do that?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
I mean, and I remember I'd only had him for a couple of months, and I was in the line at some store. It may have been Walmart again, and I had somebody ask me and says, "What does he do?" And he was just real forward, real obnoxious. You know, he was even asking me, you know, what's wrong with you? Why do you have to have a service dog? And I'm like, I'm just ignoring this dude. And he goes, and it's in front of the cashier, and she could hear him. And I know the cashier pretty well because I go at Walmart quite frequently. And you know, she's listening, she's looking at hearing what he's saying, and she's looking at my facial expressions. And he just kept going on and on. And he's like, no, really, you know, what does he do? I'm like, he's a service dog. Well, what does he do? I'm like, well, to be honest with you, right now he's multitasking. Okay, he's keeping me out of jail and he's keeping you out of the fucking hospital. Do you have any more questions? And I mean, the guy kind of backed up a little bit and he's thinking, what do you mean? I'm like, he's keeping me out of jail and he's keeping you out of the hospital. You know, and it's like,
because I'm about to go off and whip your ass. Registering down the other. Right. I mean, yes.
Honestly, what you should do in public when you see a service dog is fucking ignore them.
Exactly.
Like
I agree.
Yeah. If you acknowledge a service dog, you're compromising his ability to do his job. You know, if you see a service dog, just ignore it. But if I see kids, obviously 2-3-year-old kids, they're enamored with dogs, they want to pet them. I'll put Buddy on a break. I'll let him go play with the kids for a minute, and then we go on about our day. It's very simple, very easy.
But adults, grown-ass adults, if a dog has a vest on that says service dog, do not pet, it's obviously clear. It's obviously clear even, oh man, I don't understand people who want to have a problem with that.
I mean, there's only one person I ever met that had a problem with it, and I was okay with her having a problem with it. And it was when I took Buddy to my son-in-law's graduation from basic training at Fort Jackson. It was basic training. The graduation was over with, and we're outside of the grandstands, and there was a park bench, and I'm standing beside the park bench waiting on my daughter and everybody to come down, and I'm sitting there with Buddy, and there was this little old black lady, and I promise you, she was every bit 95, if not approaching 100, and she was an old school South Carolina black woman. She had the big hat on with the flower on the side, the fancy sundress. She was decked out to the nines, and she was ancient, like ancient, probably weighed 75 pounds. And she's sitting there, she had her cane and everything. She was very proper. She kept looking at Buddy, and she kept looking at me, and she kept looking at Buddy in his vest. She kept looking at me, and this went on for about, I don't know, a good 3, maybe 5 minutes. And she finally, she looked at me. She said, "Excuse me, sir." And I said, "Yes, ma'am." She goes, "I know that vest says do not pet." She goes, "But I'm going to be honest with you. I really don't care. I'm fixing to pet your dog." And I said, "Ma'am, you have at it. You have at it." And I put Buddy on a break, and I had to send her over there, and he's licking all over her hands, and she was petting all over him. But it was the way she approached it. She said, "I know it says do not pet, but I'm fixing to pet your dog." I'm like, "Well, ma'am, you go right ahead. All right, you committed. I mean, you committed. You made your statement. You didn't do it on your own. You let me know, hey, I'm fixing to do this. Well, by all means, let me make it as comfortable as possible for this to take place."
No, that's kind of sweet, really.
I mean, you know,
just go ahead.
The whole time before, when you text me and shit, you know, POTB had texted me and he was talking about, man, let's do the State of the Union, and I was like, well, hell, I might, you know, and then it was like, you text me afterwards, and I was assuming you were doing the State of the Union, man.
Well, Box got on here as soon as I posted. He said, "Man, you beat me to it." I'm like, "Oops, sorry." I said, "I'm on the backstage. Click the link and join me. You can do whatever you want to do. Just do it here." I just had to come up here and vent for a little bit about the service dog thing, because it's honestly getting out of control.
Right.
Because I've had people, I was coming out of CVS or something with Buddy, and there was this little old lady, not little old lady, she was, 30s or 40s. And she said, I'm going to get my dog one of them vests so I can take him with me. And I stopped and I said, ma'am, I said, what you need to realize is doing that is illegal.
Mm-hmm.
If you pretend to have a service dog when it's not actually a service dog, that's a $500 fine, 50 hours of community service, and it could be up to 30 days in jail. So just getting a vest off Amazon and putting it on your dog and walking him around a leash saying that he's a service dog when he's not is illegal. Like I can walk into a restaurant with Buddy and there's nothing they can do about it. But if I walked into a restaurant with a dog that wasn't a service dog and he was eating food off the floor and barking and doing dog shit, then they can tell me to leave, and I have to leave. That's one of the things about having a service dog. You have to be in control of the animal 24/7, and he has to behave like he's not there. And that's where a lot of people get confused, because there's a whole bunch of people out there faking service dogs. And there's a whole bunch of people with the emotional support dogs. Look, an emotional support dog is not protected by the ADA. An emotional support animal does not have any rights protected by the ADA. An emotional support animal is not a service dog. It's a pet that makes you feel good. It does not mean you get to carry them on planes for free. It does not mean that they get to go in all these places. They are not protected by any of those rights. Jules Goldstein, what's going on? Amanda Baker, welcome. Sherry Leach.
That is true. I really good friend of the family, was my mom's best friend, and I was there whenever she gave birth to her daughter. And oh gosh, I was a teenager when she gave birth to Amber, and Amber passed away last year, and she was in her 30s, and she was blind, and she had a service dog, like she was blind.
Right.
And had a service dog. And so I know. I mean, I'm just saying, yes, I know. Service dogs are legit service dogs.
It's like the law that kid broke at the school by trying to basically poison Buddy. It's the exact same law. If you would have went up and prevented a police dog from doing his job or tried to poison a police dog, it's the exact same fucking law that applies to Buddy. It's the exact same law. It's even worded. Police canine, service dog. Yeah, it's the exact same law.
Yep. That's what I'm saying. Like
People don't realize it's not a local law. It's federal. So when it's investigated, it's the Department of Justice. It's a federal offense. It's not a local offense. It's not state and county. It's federal.
True. That's true. That's absolutely true.
G-Mom Merkel's over there with Biden on the big screen, got her surround sound on and shit. Sitting there. She got her one of them little wine glasses, tipping a drink, like, oh Biden, you're so beautiful.
Oh, and not to intentionally change the subject, but everybody's still talking about this fucking balloon. Now the latest thing I hear is that there was a possibility there was explosives on the balloon. Well, if it was explosives that were intended to do damage, they would have used them. The only reason there would be explosives on the balloon is if they wanted to detonate the balloon so it didn't fall into enemy hands, which obviously didn't work.
It was a self-destruct. They were saying they thought it was a self-destruct, and everybody took it to.
Well, if you notice, I watched the video. I found a really good high-resolution video of the shoot down, and I got to tell you, the pilot or better yet, the missile or the aiming system was point on, because if you watch that video in super slow motion, the missile actually separated the balloon from the cargo, from the cage at the bottom. The cage was not hit at all. It fell by itself. It literally separated the balloon from the whatever was hanging below it. So that was a real good shot. Because it actually didn't hit the balloon. It hit the cable that was connecting them, because when the balloon separated, it separated on one seam and then it opened up and wrapped around. Hell of a good shot. And here's something else, and I don't give a shit if anybody disagrees with me. What was the first report? They said they might not be able to get any intelligence because of the water, the saltwater contamination. All right, let me go ahead and break some stuff down to you guys. If you're going to build a weather balloon, all right, and have sensitive hundreds of thousands of dollars, if not millions of dollars worth of equipment hanging from the bottom of it, what is the first thing you do when you're going up to altitude and you're flying over water or anywhere else? This shit's fucking waterproof, okay? It's like the black box on the airplanes that are actually orange. Those things are fucking waterproof. They've been that way for like since we've been fucking flying. So to say that, oh, we fear that all the intel we may gather has been destroyed by the ocean. Bullshit. I'm calling bullshit on the motherfucker that wrote the article. Bullshit on the motherfucker that thought that article would work for the American public. It just means that you don't want to tell anybody what you got. None of that shit was compromised by the water at all, ever. It's been tested. I mean, you wouldn't hang that shit from a balloon that's 80,000 feet in the air, knowing that something might happen. It might pop and fall back down to earth. If that's the case, you want to make sure your shit's protected. So yeah, saying that it was messed up by water is bullshit. I'll call that right now.
Right.
But the thing is, I mean, all you're gonna get from that equipment is the same shit that they already got. Because I promise you, that shit was on a constant uplink 24/7, feeding data back real time to China. It's not like everything they collected we got, they didn't get it. They already got it. They already processed it. They're digging through it. We're just trying to see what they saw is all. What's got me? Huh?
I'm sorry. This article just came across. This is wild. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was just saying the thing that's got me worried right now, fuck a balloon, is all these fucking earthquakes, man. They're all over the globe.
Yeah, the earthquake thing, man. Actually, Israel and all through there just shook 4.6, and that one in Turkey or whatever, it shifted the plates over 3 meters.
Yeah, well, here's the thing. It wasn't one in Turkey. It was one, a whole bunch of aftershocks, and then a completely separate one. They've been hit by 2.
Right. Then, I'm just saying the earthquakes in Turkey, it moved the plates over 3 meters, and they just had an earthquake in Israel and shit too.
Israel, we had one up in New England area, I think Boston, somewhere near Boston, Puerto Rico. The West Coast has had some, all down through South America. The whole ring of fire, and it kind of brings you back to the whole the pole shift, you know. And I mean, and that's one of the signals. I mean, it's going to be some crazy earthquakes. So it's just weird, man.
I almost hate to do it to everybody, but I really don't. I really don't hate doing this. But the Bible actually says the next time, you know, God says the next time the earth will be destroyed will be by fire. These earthquakes, and it also says that the earth will shake in various places. Just saying. Just saying.
Well, Yankee Watchdog, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe terminal velocity is around 120 miles an hour. I don't think you can accelerate any faster than that unless you have thrust. I could be wrong, but once you reach terminal velocity, there's a reason it's called terminal velocity, the end of speed. You can't fall any faster than that unless there's a force behind you, giving you thrust.
Pushing. Yeah.
I believe. I'm not positive, but I do believe. But either way, I mean, if you're gonna design some electronic equipment that's gonna be snatching up all this fancy, sensitive stuff. Now, here's the deal: if it's feeding it back real time, who gives a shit if it falls apart when it hits the ground? If you're getting the data real time, it's not like you need to plug it up when you get back home to find out what it saw. You already have it. So even if it was destroyed by the salt water, that just means that we don't get to see what they saw. They already have all that information. I promise you. Promise you.
Mm-hmm.
That may be, you know, again, I'm just saying that may be the reason why they're just blowing and going and doing whatever in the fuck they want to now, because they know it's about the end is nigh, man.
Yeah, I mean, it could be. I mean, me personally, I said it the other night. If it was me doing this balloon thing, it would have had a payload, and I would have distributed that payload in a powdered form in the middle of the jet stream and let it just spread and settle. You know, hopefully I am wrong. You know, but you know, I don't know. Saying that there was an explosive device or whatever, you know, obviously that would probably be a self-destruct mechanism because I mean the hot air balloon can only carry so much weight. Gee, what's going on?
Yeah, I don't know. They're saying as many as 6 balloons were around all around they showed a map all around the United States during the Trump term, and the Department of Defense didn't say shit.
Well, I mean, the thing is, we've been flying these balloons forever. I mean, Google flies them on a daily fucking basis. You know, so knowing that, I mean, apparently that's what Roswell was. You know what I mean? So it's not like it's a new occurrence. You know, weaponizing them as a new occurrence.
They did them in World War II. They did them in World War I too.
And Japan did them in World War II and bombed the mainland of the United States. A lot of people don't know that. It set fires on the West Coast. You know, they literally launched balloons from Japan with fire bombs, and tried to set the country on fire.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like there's a reason why they did the balloon the way they did, and there's a reason why we didn't shoot it down until it crossed the entire continental United States.
That's what I was going to ask you. I was like, wait a minute. We know that for it to come all the way across, they had to allow it to come all the way across.
Well, but I mean, in all reality, I mean, they're not going to tell us what the fuck they're doing, and they could have just simply been
right.
They simply could have been feeding. They could have hacked. So the Chinese sent the data up close, you know, and I understand they've got Starlink satellites and all this shit that can spy satellites that can. I understand all that shit. But I'm just saying, they still say there is a necessity for these balloons, and the only thing I can figure is probably, they could have like LiDAR on it, stuff like that, and fly it over and see, because it shows shit that you can't see while the trees and shit are there. And
a high resolution camera on a balloon is going to give you a better picture than a satellite.
Right, but what I'm saying is we could have hacked that thing before it even got into our space, and been uploading, making the Chinese think they're seeing one thing, you know what I'm saying, when seeing something they're really not. I mean, who knows?
Maybe.
Well, honestly, Backwoods, I'm out of all the different scenarios it could possibly be.
Yeah.
I think your scenario, the one you came up with, is the most logical. Is that there's some kind of new technology they have on there. That's the whole reason why they went around the missile silos. I think you're right. I think there's some kind of new technology where they were either zeroing in on the specific transmission frequency or the security frequencies. Maybe there's some kind of a hack they were trying to drop into the computer system over the silos to prevent the doors from opening.
Right.
That's my issue, is maybe there was some kind of a high-speed download or a hack that we don't know is there yet. Maybe it's a worm, that's in there right now, gathering information, gathering launch codes, gathering activation codes, things like that, to make things go kind of sideways. To me, that is the most logical explanation of this entire thing, and I think you hit the nail on the head with that, brother.
Well, and and when I was talking about that the other day, that was kind of what I was, why I'd said this now was because, maybe it was that, but they were feeding, maybe the U.S. hacked their shit and was feeding them a bunch of false information, and then all they got to do is, because you can't tell me that we don't know what the hell's going on in China,
right,
and everywhere else.
The only problem is if the balloon was operating at 80,000 feet. If it was operating at 80,000 feet, beaming directly to a satellite, I don't know if we could get a plane high enough that would be able to jam that. I don't know if they could do that.
Did you see one of the defense people or whatever over there in Turkey. I believe it was Turkey. Yeah, had said that they were curious because we have a ship over in the Black Sea. Is it right there? We, yeah, we have a ship over there, and there's an actual video of like something flashing off in the distance towards the sea. And then like a day or so later, the earth, or like that day or that night or something, the earthquake happened.
I didn't hear about that.
And, yeah, and this guy asked like straight up, did we use some kind of new earthquake weapon?
I have to hit the boys' room. Y'all keep going.
All right.
Yeah, I hadn't seen that one yet. No, I hadn't seen that one.
I just seen it earlier. I mean, you know, when it trips me out because a lot of times, man, I'll be talking about all this different stuff, and people are like, "Calm down, man. It's you know, do you know this and that, and well, you know," and I'm like, "Well, I obviously I really don't know what the fuck is going on, and neither does anybody else."
Right, but there's
the ones in the know are the ones in the know, and everybody else is just guesstimating, and even towards, you know, some people that's just recently like been in the military. You know what I'm saying? Things that are going on right now, you know, it's if you're not in the know, you're not in the know. It's all just speculation, you know. And
yeah, oh yeah, they're not going to tell us. They're not going to tell us.
Right. So
yeah.
So I mean, it's not that I'm sitting here going, "Yep, that's it. I believe it. This is what's going on. This is what's going to happen." I'm telling you, God dang,
right.
But it's more of these are just all kinds of scenarios that I run through my head. You know. I mean, that's what most everybody does. You know,
we have to question. We have to question everything. We really have to question everything.
Right.
Yeah.
So it ain't that big of a deal. You know. I mean, they're only gonna tell us what they want us to know, man. Right. And 90% of that, when they tell us what they want us to know, it's a bunch of bullshit anyway.
Right. Exactly.
You know, that's all they want us to know is a bunch of bullshit.
Yeah. I remember the first time I heard about these earthquake weapons where you can trigger an earthquake in a specific place, and the first thing you think of is, wow, that's some like crazy cool technology if you could use it on the battlefield to screw some people up. The problem is, all right, in layman's terms, all right, an earthquake weapon represents one single domino sitting by itself, and you knock it over. You knocked over the domino. That was, you put an earthquake right there. The problem is, fault lines are connected to hundreds, if not thousands, of other fault lines. So in reality, when you use an earthquake weapon, it's several hundred dominoes going off in different directions, and you push that one and it just keeps tripping other stuff. So in my personal opinion, the use of or development of an earthquake weapon is probably the second, if not the third most stupidest idea anybody's ever had. I mean, in reality, because if you could trigger an earthquake and you triggered it on a fault line that's connected to multiple other fault lines, you don't have any idea how that works. I mean, we have earthquakes now just by the grace of God and the way things move, and you have random ones that usually spread out and they do damage over a lot of places. But if you artificially start an earthquake, depending on the depth that you do it at, the fault lines that it's connected to, I mean, you're talking, that shit could completely fucking spin out of control. And perfect example is what's going on in Turkey. I mean, when's the last time you had two major earthquakes? Not an earthquake and a whole bunch of secondary shakes, but like two designated separate earthquakes in the same freaking area. That's like, I don't know, I've never heard of that happening before.
Man, you know, and you got to look at it like this, like Turkey, for instance. You know, there may be some, you know, a lot of bad people over there, but I can guarantee you there's good people over there. All they want to do is just live, you know. And it's just like here in the United States, there's bad people here and there's good people here, you know. And I think it's like that probably all over the world, you know. And I'm gonna tell you, man, yeah, when I watched that video of the some of them, some of that earthquake footage, man, I was like, damn, man, that's
Heartbreaking.
man, that's horrible, man.
Did you see the video of the dog standing in the middle of an intersection howling?
Uh-uh.
Oh, he
Bro,
knew it was going to happen.
there was a
Yeah.
dog standing in the middle of a four-way intersection howling several minutes before the earthquake hit. And his howl, it wasn't like a wolf's howl. It was like the howl you would think you would hear from a dying animal. It was
Like,
like a straight guttural noise that he's probably only made once in his life, and it was right before the earthquake hit. And then there was another video of birds going absolutely fucking ape shit before the earthquake.
Hey, Monique, sister.
Yeah, that was a healthy howl.
Hey, real quick on that bird thing.
Doc Mac.
Real quick on that bird thing. Did you see that fucking couple that they captured a pigeon, man, right? And painted it pink for a baby reveal. And the bird died, man, of course.
Yeah.
Because it had breathed, it breathed the fume. And I thought to myself, you dumb, I mean, like, really, you're just gonna paint a bird, man, and man, you can't use a damn balloon or a traditional shit like everybody else. See, this is what happens when you try to change tradition. That shit's been working for many years. The hell's wrong with people?
And why do they still call it a gender reveal when they're not revealing the gender, they're revealing the sex?
I know. Well,
because there's like 7,594 different genders.
I agree. I mean, it just, but it's still, why you paint the bird, man? It's like, what the?
Well, it goes back to that one video that was out, I don't know, a year ago, and it was a trans couple. Here's the part that blows my mind. It was a trans man and a trans woman. All right. So it was a chick that is now a dude and a dude that is now a chick.
Right.
So, and they got pregnant. So the chick, according to popular myth, the chick got the dude pregnant, when in reality it was the dude that got the chick pregnant. Long story short, they had a baby, and there was like a special. It was like on like TV, and the dude, which is the trans woman, it's a dude that now pretends to be a woman, was breastfeeding the baby. I mean, it was a dude. It was a baby sucking a dude's tit. Anywhere else in public, that's like pedophilia. We're going to jail. But it was, and the trans, I get them. The chick that's pretending to be a man was complaining about how his vagina was ruined, and they were complaining about how their parents don't accept their gender and how they live their life, and that was their main complaint, was that they want society to accept them for who they truly are. And then they made a statement, and it was the most fucking hilarious back-ass thing I've ever heard in my life. The whole basis for this show was standing up for trans rights and how people need to accept us for who we really are, when that's literally like, I don't know if it's called a double negative, oxymoron maybe, because you're literally not accepting you for who you really are, but you're complaining that we're not accepting. You're a guy pretending to be a girl. That's not who you really are. That's who you want to be.
They were complaining that the baby wouldn't latch on. And I'm like, no shit. That's because you got the wrong titty, man.
It's nasty man sweat. You don't want man sweat. And then and here's the messed up part. Towards the end of the show, after they bitched and moaned about how their families didn't accept them for who they really are and their genders, they literally said, well, we really haven't decided what gender we're going to raise our child as.
Oh my God.
Your basic bitch was that your parents didn't accept your choice for gender, but yet you're going to choose the gender of your brand new baby. Get the fuck out. You need to go. You need to start a shotgun or count mufflers. I mean, because your life is fucked. I mean, yeah, I just,
man, that baby should have. Here's
the thing. Here's the thing.
You would have done that 20 years ago, they'd have stripped that baby right out of there, man.
I was gonna say we're a
They'd have done more
CPS
than
when
that.
we need them.
They'd have done more than that. And here's the thing, you know, I'm the most homosexual accepting, or one of the most homosexual accepting people on the planet. I have relatives that are homosexual.
Me too.
I have male relatives that love dudes. I have female relatives that love chicks. You do you, man. If that's what floats your boat, you do you. I mean, the most badass warriors on the planet, the Spartans, homosexuality was encouraged throughout their adolescent life. Do you realize that Spartan women? What is that echo again?
I don't even have YouTube on. It cannot be me. Is it me? It's
It is.
It is. Yeah, it's you.
The TV
It's
on.
you. I'm talking through your microphone right now.
Oh my God! Nothing else is on. I don't know what I'm doing. Nothing else is on.
You got
It's still there. It's still there. Yeah.
I literally don't have anything on. I'm sitting in the living room. No, I have an Android. I'm literally sitting in the living room looking at y'all on my phone. The TV's not on. Nothing's on. Nothing's on.
No laptop.
No, sir.
No, it's gone.
Nothing. I'm telling you, I've been sitting in the same spot this whole time. Nothing else is on.
Is there a computer?
Sounds like your phone's been hacked.
Is there a computer? Is there a computer near your phone?
There's not near my phone. No, there's one in our bedroom, but that's all the way down the hall in the back in the bedroom, and I'm sitting in the living room. So
what were we talking about before she had the echo?
Oh no! You said you were talking about the whole.
Something about you was the gayest or something.
Oh,
no,
the whole homosexuality. The Spartans. I mean,
right.
Spartan men were separated from the community, and they went to the Akage, and it was this Spartan.
Right when they were small
boys. And homosexuality was encouraged the same way through the Romans. Homosexuality was encouraged. Do you realize that Spartan women, when they got married to the Spartans that they were married to, they literally went through a ritual where they shaved their head just like the Spartan men to make the transition from homosexuality to heterosexuality easier on the men. You know, so homosexuality has been around forever. I got no problem with that. If you're a dude and you like dick, fucking you do you. If you're a chick and you like cooch, we got something in common. But you know, don't do the whole, well, I'm switching sides, I'm going to be a girl now. Well, you can chop your tits off and say you're a man, you're not. You got 2 hideous scars. Now you're never going to be a man. And now you can't be a functional female anymore. So you're just a useless bag of meat and fluid. I mean, you're not even productive anymore. So it's like, we're in a society where people are mutilating themselves to make a statement and pretend to be something that you're never going to be. If you are born a male, you will never be a female. If you were born a female, you can never be a man. You can buy the most expensive plastic surgeon on the planet to build you a pussy or build you a new cock, but it's not. I mean, it's the most ridiculous. I honestly, I can't wrap my head around it. I mean, in the 80s and 90s, being gay, it was literally cool. You had your own gay nightclubs. Everybody was having a blast. And I'm going to be perfectly fucking honest with you. I have never been gay, never had any homosexual thoughts in my entire life. But when I was working security, a lot of bar and nightclub security, I worked security at one company I worked for. I was a general manager, the operations director, and I had 13 clubs that I oversaw, and 2 of them were gay. And when on my nights off, that's where I went to drink because I had a fucking blast.
Because it was fun. It was
if you
fun.
think for 1 second that you can go into a gay bar and you're straight and they don't know you're straight, you're fucking delusional.
Right.
You can't go into a gay bar and pretend to be gay and get free drinks. That's not how it works. All right. No. If you go into a gay bar and you're a straight man, they know. They can smell you a fucking mile away. I promise you. You're not going to fake anybody out. And they don't
how about a
care.
straight female? I went into gay bars with my brother. My brother was gay. Okay, so I went into these places like JR's and all this stuff with my brother, and I was a straight female, but hanging out with my brother and my brother's friends, which I had a blast. Like you said, I had a blast.
Dude,
right?
the best times
Like,
of my life. Fucking, if you want to go get drunk and have a ball,
blast.
go to
Yes.
an old-fashioned 90s gay bar. You want to have
Yes.
fun, and I mean, see a show and
Dude,
nobody offends you.
it was so
Nobody
much
gets
fun.
upset. There's not a Karen anywhere in sight. Go
Right.
to a fucking 90s gay bar, and you will have a fucking blast.
Yep, that's what I'm
And-
talking about. That's
And nobody's trying to get you drunk and pass you out
Mhm.
and ass rape you in the bathroom. They don't care. They just
Nope.
want to have fun.
Dude, we just
all
had
that-
fun.
All that shit is gone now.
So anybody? So what? Anybody see the price of eggs lately?
Yeah.
Oh, dude,
Yeah.
they're crazy. That's absolutely. I about fell out when I saw. Oh my god, I about fell out when I went to Walmart a couple weeks ago just to get some stuff for like over at my mom's or whatever, and I was like, "What the?"
Jules, I think the membership link is on my main page. I'm not positive. It should be there. There should be a button that says join if you want to join. But yeah, welcome aboard if you want to. Awesome. If not, if there's a mod that knows how to do that, hook her up. But here's the funniest story ever. One of the first times I was at a gay bar, I was obviously not on edge, but I'm like trying to figure out who's who and what's what, and this and the other. And I remember I had to go take a piss. And both the bathrooms are side by side. Okay. And I walk up to the bathroom and I get in line for the men's bathroom, and there literally wasn't a line for the girls' bathroom. And this one of the guys in the drag show, he laughed at me. He knew my name because he used to come to the other club that I ran. He's like, so and so. He said, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "I'm waiting in line in the bathroom." He goes, "Do you really think it matters which one you use?" And
I was about to say when I went with my brother to like
I literally
JR's,
scratched my head. I'm like, you know what? You're right. It really doesn't.
Right.
You know what I mean?
It does not fucking matter. I went to the bathroom at JR's, with my brother or whatever, like in the 90s, yeah. And dude, it doesn't matter. It doesn't.
Yeah,
it absolutely does not.
I remember there was the two gay guys that owned the bar. They were awesome, and I love these two dudes. They were just awesome, and I mean, they were on fire. They didn't hide it from anybody. And this was in Jackson, fucking Mississippi, right? This was Jackson, fucking Mississippi, and these two guys were on fucking fire. And one of the reasons why I met them is it was in a strip mall, and 2 doors down was a cowboy bar that we also owned, and I was in charge of both of them. And that's how I met the 2 brothers that owned the gay bar when we bought it and we took it over. And they were just awesome. And I remember they were getting a lot of harassment from some of the cowboys, and some of the rednecks were giving a hard time for it being a gay bar. And there was gay bashing going on. And they were trying to beat them up in the parking lot and this and that and the other. And they came to me and they were like, we need some help. I'm like, not a fucking problem. Because at the time I was rodeoing. I had a whole bunch of cowboys that were with me, and cowboys like to drink. A cowboy will walk up into a gay bar, not a fucking problem. Spurs up on the bar and give me a cold one. I ain't gonna bother you. You don't bother me because you cats know I'm straight, and it's all good. And I brought, I told a few of my friends that want to make some money on the side from the rodeo. I'm like, look, I need some part-time security at this gay bar. I said, these guys are getting bashed and it ain't right, and it pays good money. Just keep it. No problem, boss. Let's go. So I surrounded this gay bar with a bunch of legit freaking Mississippi cowboys. We get that shit bud like really, really quick. And it was great because we all drank for free. They had a blast. But I remember I did a party there one night, and it was hilarious. And I can't remember what it was. It was one of the owners. It was his birthday, and his boyfriend, the other owner, knew that I used to be a male stripper, and they were like, hey, we want you to do a strip show for him. I'm like, ain't no freaking way in hell I'm doing a strip show. Come on. I've been retired for like 10 years. He's like, come on, it'll make his night because he thinks you're hot and this, that, and the other. And I'm like, all right, I was wasted drunk. I'm like, I'll do like a real quick just to mess with him for his birthday. So I jumped up on the bar and I started shaking my ass, doing the whole strippy thing. I didn't take anything off, you know, unbuttoned some pants or whatever. And I'm,
Right.
you know, just giving him a hard time. And it was hilarious. You know, I hopped down off the bar. Everybody's laughing and clapping. We had a great time. Like I said, everybody knows I'm straight. That was never going to happen. But
Right.
the birthday boy who was always busting my chops. I mean, this guy was always busting my chops.
Hey,
And he was like, we gonna get you to switch sides. Yeah.
Hey, I got a leak over there in the side of my shop, dude.
But fix it.
That's what I kept hearing, something dripping, and I was like, where the hell is this coming from? I got to go see what's going on with it.
All right, go ahead.
All right.
Peace. Yeah, so he was always busting my chops. And I hopped down off the bar. We're laughing, we're giggling, we're doing shots.
Right.
And he said something about me switching sides or switching teams or whatever. I can't remember exactly how it came out. But I do remember exactly what he said, fucking word for word. And I was drunk as shit. But this shit hit me in the brain and I remembered it. And I said, ain't no way in hell I ain't never switching teams. I love women too much, this, and that, and there. He looked me dead in the fucking eye with about 30 people standing around that could hear every word he said. And I remember to this day, he had a yardstick in his hand. Remember the old rulers, the long rulers, the yardstick?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, the 3-foot ruler.
He slapped it down on the bar and he said, let me tell you something, son. He said, this is America. He said, if we can put a man on the moon, we can put a man on you. And I said, check, please. Check. I'm out of here. We can put a man on the moon. We can put a man on you. I said, I got to go.
Oh, my God. That's hilarious. Oh shit. That's funny.
Oh, I had nothing to say. How can you come back to that?
How can you come back from that? I don't know. Oh, my God. Hang on. I'll have to. Hang on. Here. Hang on. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Holy jeez. That's funny.
Yeah,
you know what? I have to say, I went with my brother to this bar down on, when was Timer? Where was it? Oh, shit. I don't know. Anyway, I feel like that was the first time in my life I ever somebody got jealous because I was with my brother and we were down at this gay bar in Houston. And I walked out of there. I barely walked out of there, I guess. And I don't recall any of walking out of there. I think that was the one and only time I ever got drugged in my life. And I think somebody was pissed because they thought that I was like with him and some gay guy wanted to hook up with him and put something in my drink. And I was like, okay, well, this is fucked up, right? I'm just saying. No, I have no problem at all with that because my brother was gay. And then I have my cousin's son who was the same age as it was a while back. I did a video during the holidays when we did our whole family game night thing, and he was singing, and that was Garrett. That was my cousin's son, the same age as my son, he calls me Aunt Nikki, even though I'm not his aunt, but whatever. He calls me Aunt Nikki, but yeah, no, I got no problem with any of that.
Welcome to the membership, Jules. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'll try to do a membership live for you guys this weekend. Yeah, that's my whole thing on the whole sexuality. Here's the deal. If everybody lives by this mantra or whatever, the world will be a better place. I don't give a shit. I don't care if you like boys, girls, of age, obviously. Over the age of 18. If you're a dude and you like dudes, that's fine. I don't care. If you're a chick and you like chicks, that's fine. I don't care. You know, I do not care what your sexual preference is. But don't try to force feed that shit to me, and don't get offended if somebody doesn't believe the same way you do. All right. If there are people out there that believe it's evil, it's a sin, big deal. That's what they can believe. Right? Don't try to force feed your beliefs on anybody else. You do you, leave everybody else alone. The world is a happy place. But now we're in this society where all of a sudden it has to be accepted. LGBTQ plus 45978 has to have their own fucking flag. You know, now you can't even make a movie or a TV show without having two chicks making out or two dudes making out or somebody saying my pronouns are this and my pronouns are that. I don't mind being inclusive and letting everybody be happy, but to give everybody a voice and to force feed it to mass media saying that it's accepted, that is just wrong. Make the movie about what the movie was supposed to be about. You don't have to, change the male character from male to female or from black to white or white to black or Mexican or Asian or whatever. All right, is Roots inclusive? So are we going to do a remake of Roots and have all the stars be white?
Like, Roots, like the original Roots, like Kunta Kinte Roots, like that original.
If we're supposed to remake all the mainstream media movies now and make sure we recast African American people or Asian or Mexican so there's a diverse cast, does that mean we're going to remake Roots and all the slaves aren't going to be black? I mean, it makes sense, right?
Right. Okay. Right. I got you. I was going to say,
I mean, if you're telling a story and it's to a culture, then it needs to be about that culture. And Roots was a culture-based story, which it should always stay the way it is. It was about slavery and all the horrors that people went through with that. That should never change. But to change the Little Mermaid from black to white to black,
they did change the Little Mermaid.
Why would you change the person that wrote the original story wrote it a certain way specific to it's their fucking story. Don't recast and change the ethnicity or the background of people to make it more palatable. Maybe it wasn't fucking written for you. All right. People can be creative and have differences. If you don't want to watch it, don't fucking watch it.
I watched Roots. I want to say when Roots came out, I was probably 7, 8 years old ish, right? Is that right? I mean, you're close to my age. I want to say when the movie Roots,
I was little, so yeah, it was a while ago. Right.
When Roots came out, I sat in the living room and obviously, and I watched it and I cried and cried and cried. I was like, this is horrible,
I mean, it's like to this day, I haven't seen any movies depicting slavery where it shows black slave owners. And there were a bunch. One of the first black slave owners in America was a black man.
That's true. That's absolutely true.
So if you're gonna tell the story and you want it to be period accurate, then tell the fucking story. All right. If you're gonna tell the story of slavery, and guys, I'm not dogging on this. All right. I am from a triracial family. I'm biracial from a long, long time ago, from the slavery era. And unlike a whole lot of proud black people that pound their chest and wear their Black Lives Matter shirts screaming about slavery, I actually know the name of my ancestor that was a slave. All right. So do your research, do your heritage, and check on it. Just because my skin's the tone that it is means absolutely nothing, because there's a difference in African black and Caribbean black. Caribbean black people carry the white gene. A Caribbean black man can have sex with a white woman and produce black children or white children. This is not something I made up. Google it on the internet. There are 2 twin teen girls. I think they're in their 20s now. Caribbean black father, white American mother. One girl, these are twins born at the same time. One girl's black, one girl's white.
Yep.
All right. And they're twins.
Yep.
All right. So the thing is, and throughout most of the Southeast, especially South Carolina, a majority of the slaves in South Carolina were Caribbean black. They're from the Caribbean. So when people preach and bang on their chest, this and that and the other, look, number one, if you're gonna play the black privilege card and bang on your chest about slavery, reparations, I'm oppressed, at least know your history. At least do some research on if you actually were a slave or a descendant of a slave. All right. And also accept the simple fact that every single race, creed, nationality of people on the planet has been or is still a slave to someone else on the planet. All right. So it's not a unique club. You don't get a special trophy. All right. It is what it is. I mean, there's a reason that the African slave trade is called the African slave trade. It's because it existed in Africa long before the colonizers ever landed a boat there. African kings were enslaving the people on other tribes when they went to war, and then when they were selling them and they ran out of slaves, then they started enslaving their own people and selling them into the slave trade. This is historical fact. This is nothing I'm making up.
Right.
It's
Wasn't it initially an African king that got kidnapped, and then he said he bargained for his release, and he provided 100 the first time they came? Like, he was like, "You'll let me go, I will." I'm saying, wasn't it?
I'll keep it as accurate as I possibly can from the knowledge that I've gleaned throughout history. The African kings first learned of the concept of slavery from Europe, the European kings.
Right.
There was an African king came and he learned about slavery in Europe, and he's like, "Holy shit, this will work over here." And he started going to war and taking slaves and using them to increase the size of his kingdom. The colonizers landed. The slave trade existed long before there were slaves in America. All right, the market was there, you know.
I have to say, I'm Irish background, so we all know how the Irish went in America. But aside from that, my first child is half Mexican, and then Jeremy's half Mexican. Well, my first child's half Mexican because my first husband was full Mexican, like from Mexico. Well, his parents were from Mexico. Anyway, it doesn't matter to us in Texas. Like, we're like, we don't care. Whatever. We don't care what nationality, race, where you came from. We just don't care.
When people start generalizing people based on the color of their skin, and you ask somebody, you know, where are your ancestors from? My ancestors are from Africa. I'm a proud black man. Well, my ancestors are from Africa too. It's a proven scientific fact. All life started in Africa. So I mean, do the math. So if you're going to sit here and let society separate us, you're going to sit here and let society separate us into colors and make you want to be mad at the other people about the color of their skin, that just shows fucking ignorance.
That's what I'm saying. I'm from Texas, literally Texas. Half of Texas is Mexican and white, like, and those of us that are white in Texas.
I'm pretty sure if you're in Texas, you guys are getting invaded right now. So there's a damn good chance you're going to be part of Mexico in the next 10 years. We're probably going to sell.
I love Mexico. I don't care.
Biden's probably going to sell Texas and New Mexico back to Mexico, more than likely.
All right, cool. Like, I will totally, but I'm going to take a boat across and I'm going to go to Cozumel. I'm going to live on that island. That's fine. You know, whatever. That's what I'm saying. It's so bizarre, the difference in, I mean, I get it. I don't want, you know, all the craziness coming over the border, but Texas, I'm half a century old. Okay, so I've been in Texas for half a century. We all get along. Like, we all get along. We don't care about race, color, this, that, whatever. We just don't flipping care.
And don't get me wrong. I mean, there are racist people out there. And here's the thing. I don't have a problem with that. If you don't like me because of this color of my skin, that's your weakness, not mine. You do you. I think you should wear a shirt that says, "I hate white people." Then I know we're not going to be hanging out and kicking it. It's not going to offend me. I don't give a shit, because I promise you, there's a whole lot of white people that don't like me either, because I'm a fucking asshole. Cool with that. I think being prejudiced is an awesome survival trait. Being prejudiced means that you prejudge people and you prejudge a situation.
Oh, no, I get that. I am totally prejudiced.
Been twisted.
But not against races.
You're prejudiced. Well, tell me what prejudice means. And I've said that to a couple of kids before in school when they said the word prejudice. Tell me what it means.
I am prejudiced against behavior. If I see some shady fucking behavior,
I prejudge every situation. But the problem is people nowadays, they take the word prejudiced and they cross-pollinate that with being a racist. Those are two fucking different terms. Being prejudiced just means that you prejudge a situation. If you're a dainty, small female walking down the street and all the lights on your side of the road go dark and there's a group of people walking towards you, There's a 99.9% chance you're going to cross the street. You just judge the situation. You're
Well,
prejudiced.
that should be smart. That should be right. That's what I'm saying. So yes, I get you. Prejudice. I'm prejudiced against everything in my life. Every person, everything, all of the time. I am prejudiced, but that's not racial.
And honestly, I think if everybody was cool as being a racist and being prejudiced, the world would be a much simpler place because your cards are on the table. We know how you feel. You know what I mean? If I know that you fucking hate white people just because you feel like that's cool, fucking say it loud and proud, brother. I'll make sure I do my thing, you do your thing, and we can all be fat and happy. I don't give a shit.
Right.
It's not going to change the way I live my life. I'm way too old and I'm way too set in my ways because I don't give a fuck if anybody likes me or not. I'm not going to go out and fish for compliments or make you say, oh, yeah, Ghost was a cool dude. He's this, he's that, and the other. No, I'm just me. If it works, if me being me fits into your criteria and you guys want to hang, cool. If not, kick rocks. I'm good with it. It's not going to change. I've been in too many situations where I shouldn't have woke up the next morning. So me getting stressed about your fucking feelings and your caring attitude is the last thing on my fucking mind. It really is. I mean, that's the one thing that you guys, you know, in the chat should obviously get from this channel is I don't give a fuck about anybody's opinion about me or about you. You be you. If you want to say some sideways shit in the chat, as long as it don't break the crazy rules, I don't give a shit. You be you. I'm not gonna block you. I'm not gonna kick you out because you're being you. Be you. If you start going sideways on females in the chat, stalking, start talking bad about kids or any kind of illegal stuff, then yeah, you're gonna get thrown out of here. You know that. You did it on purpose. You knew it was coming. It is what it is. But I'm not gonna say you have to conform yourself to my beliefs to hang out in my chat. You be you. You don't have to agree with everything I do, and I damn sure don't have to agree with everything you do. That's what's called being fucking normal. There's no Karens allowed. All right, that no fucking Karens allowed.
Right. No, I agree. I just pedophiles. I do not do kids. No.
Yeah, we're not. Yeah, that ain't even gonna. You know, I mean, it's you know, I'm in a unique situation. I'm a Gemini. I got PTSD. I'm old, and I just literally just do not give a fuck about reality and what people think about me because I don't give.
You know, that makes sense. My dad was a Gemini. Oh God, that makes sense. That actually makes sense.
I mean, I'm the kind of person I can walk into a debate, and I did this in college when the professor's like, you know, what side of the debate you want to be on? I'm like, both. What do you mean both? I'm like, I'll do half the debate on this side, and then in the middle, switch me to the other side. He goes, well, I say, because I can argue both ways. It doesn't matter to me.
Right.
And we were arguing abortion. I said, I'll go both ways. He goes, but don't you have a belief? I said, absolutely, I have a belief. I'm pro-life, but I'm also pro-choice. He goes, how can you be pro-life and pro-choice? I'm like, not only am I pro-choice, but I'm super pro-choice. I'm pre-pro-choice. He goes, what do you mean? I said, you have the choice to keep your fucking legs closed. You have the choice of birth control. There's your pro-choice and pro-life at the same fucking time. You don't get to be pro-choice after you got pregnant. Why don't you try being pro-choice before you get pregnant?
Oh, see, you and I, well, see, okay.
I think abortion is a necessary medical treatment. It's not a convenience. I don't think an abortion should ever be used as birth control because we have way too many forms of birth control. Now, the only addendum I would make to that is in the case of adolescent rape, incest, things like that.
This is one of those things I swore I would never get into.
Just to wake up the next morning with regret when you can go to the CVS and get a morning after pill, but you don't, and you wait 3 weeks and you do the whole regret thing and you try to decide, do I really want to hold this guy to the wall for child support and then use it to make money? Because let me tell you something, there's an entire generation of females right now
that will do that. I know.
That will look you dead in the fucking eye.
I know.
And they will tell you. I've heard girls at school talking to other girls about their mission in life, and they tell them, no, don't just have one baby daddy, because if you have one baby daddy and 3 kids, you don't get as much child support. If If you're gonna have three babies, have three different baby daddies, because then you get way more child support. That's their life plan, is to have three babies with three separate baby daddies. Then you get max child support.
And then they don't have to work. Oh my
Exactly. And then you get the check from the government. You get the coupons for the cheese and the milk and the eggs. But three separate baby daddies is way more child support than one baby daddy and three kids. It's literally double.
Yeah.
You know, and that is their life's mission, because that was what their mother did.
Oh.
You know, that is the society that we're living in right now. That's why this society is so open to the UBI, universal basic income. To just stay home, get your check, get your government cheese, eat your ground up crickets, you know, go online, stay in the virtual reality with Facebook, and you know, you will own nothing and be happy. That's the direction that we're going in. That's not the direction I'm fucking going in. I'll be in the woods.
Yeah.
I'll be in the woods somewhere. Homie ain't playing that. I ain't absolutely not. And I'll be out there with white people, with black people, with Mexican, Indians, and Asians.
That's what I'm talking about.
Whether they like me or not. Because by that time, we're all going to be the same color. Dirty and smelly as fuck.
Well, see, that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about in Texas. Like, we really don't care. Well, some of us, the normal people in Texas, we really don't care. Because my daughter's last name, her maiden name, or my first husband's and my daughter's maiden name was Gonzalez with a Z, because his family literally came, his mom and dad came from Mexico. And so I got a half Mexican daughter, and then Jeremy's half Mexican and half Italian, which is like 3
roots
marriages later. And then Virginia. And then when I go to Centerville, when we go to Centerville, we literally, our property is landlocked and we have to go through. And so I got Derek and Cassandra and all these other people, and they're black. I mean, we don't give a fuck. I don't care what color you are. If you're good people and you're friends of ours, you're good people and we're friends and I don't know. Maybe Texas is just different than everybody else. I don't fucking know.
Did y'all see, not to change the subject, but yeah, I'm going to change the subject. Did y'all see, because my brain's all over the place today.
Yeah,
Did
mine
y'all
too.
see the videos about the Grammys or whatever it was when Harry Styles won Best Album, and they were heckling him while he was on stage this is Hollywood, remember? All-inclusive Hollywood?
Mm-hmm.
And when they were on lockdown for COVID, they were going so nuts for attention because nobody was stroking their nuts, and they had to put out these sing-along videos. Remember Gail Gadot did that sing-along video with all the stars talking about "We Are the World" or what the fuck ever, which was a disaster. You know, Madonna in her bathtub, you know, pining for attention. I mean, dude, celebrities were dropping like fucking. The only good thing about the COVID lockdowns is it fucked them up because they couldn't be in the spotlight. Like, my favorite thing about the COVID lockdowns was how it fucked up Hollywood, and I wish they would still be on lockdown, and because that was just beautiful. But the GMA, I think whatever Academy Award it was, they were giving out the best album. Harry Styles won it, and the audience they were heckling, "You don't deserve this. Beyonce should have won," and all this crazy. And this is the all-inclusive,
classic.
And they went straight fucking Karen in the middle of the awards.
Happened before. Beyonce should have won this. Yeah, Kanye pulled that, I believe, a few years back. But
honestly, he got on stage with Taylor and just like interrupted her instead of saying, just
completely fucked it up. Narrative. Ain't that some shit? Like, she's a high priestess.
But Kanye's been mental for a fucking long time. Anybody that lets him in the building when you're doing something on TV, you're a fucking idiot, because he's gonna do some shit. He's gonna get that publicity.
Beyonce's gonna get the publicity.
But it was just fucking ridiculous. Oh my god.
See, I don't watch any of that stuff, so I have no idea what you're talking about.
Well, I saw it on YouTube. It was either on YouTube or TikTok.
Right. Nikki, I don't watch it anymore either. I used to when I was younger. I was in the drama club. I would watch the Oscars. I would watch
me too
occasionally, but I liked some of the movie award shows or acting shows, right? But No, the last, I don't
Like
know.
it used to make sense when they did it because they were making political statements and you could have been left or right and everybody still listened to your message. They may
Yeah.
not have agreed with it, but they still listened to your message and they made an objective opinion. It's
Well,
like
and
when it's like when was it crap, who was it that refused to go? It wasn't John Wayne, it was somebody else, and he sent a Native American female to go on stage and accept the award, and she was like totally booed and this and that and the other, and it was in protest of the way Native Americans were treated, you know, way back when, and it was like a powerful statement,
yeah,
but and
I'm saying
it still resonates to this day, but you couldn't do that now. You couldn't do that nowadays. You'd be
in
blacklisted.
the
Never do
80s
another
and
movie
early
again.
90s, it was, yes, I would watch it in the 80s and 90s, early 90s.
Hmm.
Yeah. And I mean, it was different in the 80s and early 90s,
I
but
mean,
now,
look at Robert Downey Jr. in Tropic Thunder. He did blackface in Tropic Thunder. Do you literally think that would go over today?
dude, that
Ever?
was a funny movie. That was a
That was
good
one of
movie.
the funniest movies. Literally, it was the stupidest movie fucking ever made.
It was dumb, but it was funny.
But
And yes, I love
exactly,
Robert Downey Jr. I
exactly.
literally
And
watch
I'm just a
God,
dude playing another dude, you know? And
right.
it's like you could not do that now. And that was literally one of the funniest movies of that era. But to do it now, oh my God.
I watched
No studio would touch it.
Home for the Holidays. Home for the Holidays is a movie. And my brother, the gay one, the gay brother, see, now that we bring it up, we might as well get it all out there. My brother was gay. So fucking what? He and I would watch Home for the Holidays every year at Thanksgiving. That was like a tradition for my brother and I. And Robert Downey Jr. was like played the gay dude in Home for the Holidays, and we watched it every year, and it was so great. It was like a tradition for us.
I mean, yeah, I mean, like the racism, if you want to call it racism or whatever, has
Whatever.
existed in Hollywood since the beginning, and it's still there now. But now they try to hide it, and now it's like reverse invisible racism. Do you know? Remember the sitcom way back in the '70s, Archie Bunker?
Oh
You
yeah.
know, that, are you kidding me? You think that could be made
All in the
today?
Family.
And how
No.
about the one, what was it? Not Sanford and Son, but the other one was
Oh,
moving on up to the top. What was that one?
I
What was that?
finally got a piece of the pie.
What was that show called? What was that show called?
Moving on up, moving up. Yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah.
What was that show called?
They
What was
had
that?
a
What was
white
that show called?
housekeeper.
What was
It
it
was a
called?
black couple with a white housekeeper.
Right, but what was that show called?
There was Jeffersons, and
The
then the
Jeffersons.
spinoff
Yeah.
was
But anyway, remember in their apartment complex, you had their neighbors, the black woman married to the white guy.
Yeah.
All right. Do
And they
you
would
know?
call
Do
him,
you
they would
know?
call him Cracker and Honky
Right.
all
Do
the
you
time.
know? Do you know? This is a fact that the producers, when they were auditioning people for the act, when they chose the black actress to play the wife to the white husband, the
Mhm.
producers of the show, they approached her and they say, "Ma'am, how would you feel about playing the wife to a white man on the show?" And she pulled out her pocketbook, her wallet, and she showed them a picture of her white husband. And she says, "I don't know. How do you think I'd feel about it?" That's how racist Hollywood was in the times. You know, I mean, she was legitimately married to a white man at the time, and they were concerned that she would be offended having to play the wife to a white man on TV. And she's like, "I'm married to a white man."
Right. It's like it's no problem.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so messed up. I mean, to be honest, at this point in time, does it really matter?
Mm-mm.
I mean, there's so many of us that are like, does it really matter? Black, white.
You know, and it's funny because I mean now you've got the Memphis cops that basically murdered that guy, you know, in the street. Not all of them, but you know, it is what it is.
Right.
And they're literally trying to say that that was a racist crime. It was black people being clouded by white privilege, forced to reach out with white anger on another black man. Seriously, that's the narrative you're going to spin. You're not going to spin the narrative that dude was pissed because the other dude was fucking his old lady.
Right.
We're not going to spin that narrative. We're going to
Right.
spin that he was so engulfed with this lack of white privilege that he had to lash out against his own people. What the fuck kind of world are we living in where that's the narrative you get when it's obvious that homeboy was seeking revenge because he was slipping the pipe to his ex-old lady?
Right. Right.
I mean, that's just simple. There's no black to it. There's no white to it. It's dick, pussy. The math just don't work.
It's pissed off jealousy is what it. You say dick and pussy.
Not black, not white, not black, not white. It's two dicks, one pussy. There's going to be a problem.
Pissed off jealousy. That's what it is.
Two dicks, one pussy, two screws, one hole. The math don't work. There's going to be a problem. Doesn't matter what color you are, but that's the narrative that they want to spin. Everything has to be black against white or white against black. When you've got white police officers and a black man dies, it's all over the TV. When you've got white police officer and a white guy dies, it doesn't get any media. Literally, more white people are being murdered by cops than black people on a regular basis for the last several years.
More
but they get no publicity.
Murdered by cops. See, that's pay attention.
No, I'm talking about there's a difference in death by cops.
Are being shot by cops.
Yeah.
Some you could say murdered in some cases.
Some are flat out murdered. Like, some if you weren't doing the crime, you wouldn't have got fucking shot. If you didn't pull a gun on it, and I will amend that. If you do what the fuck you're doing, if the cop pulls you over, there's a very simple way not to get fucking shot. Do what you're fucking told. Work that shit out in court, man. I mean, it's that fucking simple.
No, I'm just saying. I noticed. See, I pay attention. You said more white people are getting murdered by cops than black people.
Well, the only reason I use the term murdered is because that's the term that is being used in the media. Nobody's being not legally killed, but nobody is dying at the hands of cops legally anymore. Now it's like anytime you die in an altercation with a cop, you were murdered. You know what I mean? It's like you jump to the murdered part. You know what I mean? Well, maybe if you weren't running and shooting at them, you wouldn't have got shot, which does not equate to murder.
Or have a knife in your hand, or have a big ass pipe in your hand in the woods and coming at you, or something like they're. Ooh.
And don't get me wrong, shit's gonna happen. Shit's gonna happen, and cops are gonna make mistakes. It's hard to operate at that adrenaline level, 24/7, and not get triggered, and not make mistakes, and not get agitated. That's legitimately part of the job. That was the whole reason for our discussion last week about more training, better training, and time away from the stress. Because if you don't get out of that envelope, if you don't get out of that high intensity, high adrenaline envelope, that high threat level, your ability to make conscious decisions, not conscious decisions.
I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to agree with you.
I'm gonna go down.
I'm gonna have to disagree with you. I'm sorry, because I did it. When I say knife and pipe, I literally mean situations that I was in. Like, was I ready to shoot the guy with the pipe? Yes. Did I have my gun on him? Like, yes. Drop it, motherfucker. Like, I mean, so no, I don't feel like we had to.
But here's the thing: it could have very easily went the other way. You know what I mean?
It could have, and it would have.
But what I'm saying is, expecting an average citizen that went through BLET, had a limited amount of training, to expect them to be able to operate on 12-hour shifts, 5-6 days a week at a high intensity level, a high threat level. That's too much to ask for somebody. That's way. I think cops should work the same. I think police officers should work the same shift schedule like firefighters do. I think it should be, 24 on, 24 off, 36 on, 24 off,
No.
something like that, where you get time to recharge your batteries and download and not just in it all the time. That's could be wrong. That's just me.
There is no way peace officers can work 24 on. No.
No. I didn't mean 24 solid hours out in the car. I meant like 3 days, 3 shifts in a row, 3 days off, 2 shifts, 1 day off, 4 days on, 3 days off, and bounce it around to where you're getting different days of the week off, but you're only working one shift. You do your 8-hour, 12-hour shift, whatever it is, and then you get a fucking break, a download, and not get fucking overwhelmed. I mean, nowadays you've got cops that are doing full-time cop duty and they're doing side work as bouncers and security guards at clubs and things on the side, and you're not getting a fucking break.
Well,
you can't. It's like even in a combat zone. I mean, we would go balls out for a while, but I mean, there is legitimately protocol to rotate you back to the rear to unplug and desensitize and get your nerve endings and get the adrenaline down to where you're not on edge the entire time. If you keep sending cops out to the streets, I would hate to be a cop in Memphis right now. You're a fucking target.
Yeah. I wouldn't do it.
And it's the system is so broken right now. Everything about society is so broken. Politics are fucking ruined. It's nothing but who's the better crook? Who's the better crook? I mean, right now that's all we got is who's the better lying piece of shit. Like all of them are lying pieces of shit. Which one can we deal with the most? You know what I mean? And it's the only way I see it fixing is to somebody to literally break it apart and rebuild it.
I agree. That's the reason that I don't do what I used to do anymore. And I agree. But yeah. I mean the sheriff that we have in our county right now, I voted for a Democrat the first and only time in my life on the last election to vote against the person who is the sheriff in our county.
Right.
If that says anything, I mean, how much does that say to you? I literally voted for a Democrat.
That's the thing. That should not have to be your option. Your option should not have to be Democrat versus Republican. Your option should be back. Yeah, but your option should be back the way it was in the old days, where you vote for the person.
Right. But to vote against the person that is that was the sheriff prior to the last election, and it was really close, and he got pissed because it was so close because he was doing such a bad job. I was like, oh my God, this is the first one in my life I've ever had.
I mean, I remember distinctly, and we'll talk about the adrenaline level. I remember distinctly being in Iraq. And by no means was I a high-speed soldier. I have medals, I have awards, but I'm not a fucking hero. I didn't like rescue 9 million burning babies from a crashing helicopter, none of that stuff. But I distinctly remember, going outside the wire, leaving the fob on different missions and stuff. And like when you get in the truck and you're geared up and you're heading to the wire and you're going through the obstacles to go out, you're making sure you do a weapons check. We have a firing line. Everybody test fires their weapons, make sure everything's operational before you leave. And there's a switch. There's a switch that mentally flips whether you want it to or not as soon as that vehicle crosses the barrier. And once you're out, there's a different switch. And when I say a different switch, it means that you see the world in a different pair of glasses. Like on this side of the wire, I would see a 7-year-old boy holding up CDs as harmless. But on the other side of the wire, I see that same 7-year-old boy holding up the same CDs as a potential target. So it's like your entire brain chemistry, it rewires itself. It's not a functional thing that you do on your own. When you're trained that way and you have muscle memory, it happens on its own. Your body switches on its own, and your body makes certain decisions for you on how you're going to react in certain situations. and you're running on 10. Your heart rate is through the roof. Your blood pressure is through the roof. Everything around you smells different. It looks different. It feels different. It's you perceive the world in an entirely different way because you know in your mind you're a potential target to someone else. So you're always downrange with a bullseye on your back, and the problem is you don't know where that round's coming from. So the entire time you're on the other side of the wire, you're dialed up to a fucking 11.
11.
Whether it's a day, 2 days, a week, or 2 fucking hours, it doesn't matter. I've been on missions that lasted 2 or 3 days. I've been on missions that lasted a couple of hours. But when you come back inside the wire, the download is the same. It's just this load of shit comes off your back. And before I went over there, it blew my mind hearing about all the different concerts and the like. When you go in the fob, there's a meeting board, and it's like we got karaoke on this time, we're doing this, and we got WWE wrestlers coming in at this fob, and we're doing all these different activities to get your mind unplugged from the reality that you're in. And that to me is something that is not offered to law enforcement officers and not even firefighters. It's a way to disconnect from the reality that you're in that kind of brings and when I first saw this, I'm like, concerts, karaoke, what the fuck? Dude, we're in war. But then I went to a couple of the things and without even realizing it, I was unplugging and I was having fun. And it was like a little mini vacation, you know, from reality. And it literally, it has a huge, that's why like the USO, the stuff they do is fucking amazing because they organize all this shit. And the way that they help the morale of soldiers overseas that are dealing with this stuff, because some people deal with it way better than others. I dealt with it pretty good. You know, some people go out of the wire one time and absolutely fucking refuse to ever do it again. Court martial me, whatever. You know, some people can handle it, some people can't. But like the stuff that the USO did on keeping the mental shit working was amazing.
I can tell you that when I did patrol, I worked in the jail 2 different times, and I did patrol for multiple years or several years. And when I went on patrol, I can tell you that I hung out with these women and we worked out together and drank coffee and, you know, like workout, coffee bar, whatever. And they were like, Nikki, I cannot, you know, after knowing them for a couple months, they were like, you work patrol and you're like a cop and you're on in your car and all that. And they were like, nah, I can't imagine. Because, you know, when you're home, you're home. When you're home, you're home. It's different. You switch it off. So I worked out with them, hung out at the coffee bar, and we drank coffee and we hung out, and they were like, no, I can't imagine you. How in the hell can you do this? Like, I can't imagine. I said, okay, well, I'm going to go and get dressed or whatever for my shift, and I'll swing back by if y'all want to hang out. And they were like, okay, we'll stay. And I went home, took a shower, put on my vest, all my equipment, got in my car, came back, walked up, and they were like, oh, okay, I get it. It's a total, like you said, your mind switches. Like you like your personal life, like your civilian, like your personal life is one thing, but when you get ready for work and I have my vest and everything, and it's a ritual. You shower and do this, do that, put on this, put on that, and then you go and you walk up and you have a whole different demeanor and you're in a whole different situation, a whole different mindset. And they were like, oh shit, I get it. Like they were like,
when I realized the difference was, all right,
it's a whole
at the one fob that I was on, I would go on missions every day. Every day I would do at least one, sometimes 2, sometimes 3 in a single day. And every time it was dial it up to 11, and then you come back and you're safe. You're inside the fob, and it was a pretty big fob that I was at, so the interior was very safe. you know, and you could relax.
Right. That's it.
Unwind and decompress, and then the next day do it again, come back and unwind. But there was one mission I went on it lasted for almost 3 months. I was out for almost 3 months. I was in Tikrit, however you pronounce it. It was I mean, we still had a base, we still had a fob, but it was about the size of, well, hell, you could throw a grenade from one fence to the other. I mean, it was not very big at all. It was not safe. We were mortared nonstop, sniped, the whole 9 yards. So there, it was literally dialed up to 11 the entire time. Even when you're in your rack trying to get some sleep, you would very rarely get a night's sleep without something blowing up and having to go, you know, to your post. So being at that for almost 3 months, I was literally fried. I aged like 7 years.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you do.
Versus that was just versus being at the other fob when I went out every single day, repetitive, but I was able to unplug and recharge. It was two completely separate worlds.
Mm-hmm.
No, I get that. But I'm just saying, the girlfriends that I had, they didn't realize. They were like, "You're not a." I was like, "Well, I mean, they knew I was, but they were like, I can't imagine you doing this and blah blah blah, whatever." And so I was like, "All right, well, if y'all are still here, I'll swing back by."
And then I got to actually every now and then, like once every couple months, I got to go to the massive fob in Iraq, Anaconda. This thing was massive. Airport, everybody came in through Anaconda. They had movie theaters, they had a Burger King, a Subway, they had a soccer field, they had WWE wrestlers coming in putting on tournaments, they had rock concerts. Yeah, this was a massive city, and it was like the hub of where everybody came to. If you were stationed there, it wasn't even like you were in a war zone. I mean, it was like it was just weird, you know, and going there for the day to resupply or something and going back, you know, to a fob out in the middle of nowhere, it was like night and day, you know. So it just depends on where you were at and what you experienced and what you saw. But I mean, I know of a cook in Anaconda that when they launched the mortars, you know, the horn goes off and everybody dives for the concrete bunkers. He was in the kitchen cooking and slipped and burned his hand on the stove and put himself in for a Purple Heart and literally got it. I don't know if he put himself in for it. Somebody else did, obviously, but literally he got a Purple Heart and he burned himself in the kitchen.
Huh.
You know, yeah. I don't know the logistics of it. I don't know the guy. I don't know if it actually happened. This is just one of the stories that I was told, and I kind of tend to believe it because I saw I don't know how many lieutenants get Bronze Stars in the unit that I was attached to that never left the fob. When I mean never left, I mean they arrived on helicopter. They did their entire tour inside the wire and they left on helicopter. They never left the fob, but they're getting Bronze Stars for doing a job well done.
Right.
But you didn't really legitimately do anything. I mean, you get an attaboy, but a Bronze Star, really?
Right.
Just for being there, and you never went out of the wire. You literally flew in on a helicopter, got off, went to your secured area, slept every night in a nice air-conditioned building.
No, that happens a lot.
Got on a helicopter and went home, and you got a Bronze Star.
Yeah, okay. No, that happens a lot, and I know it does, and most people don't know that it does, but it does.
Yeah, but you know, it is what it is. Well, it's 11 o'clock. I have to work in the morning. We've been on here 2 hours. I just kind of wanted to come on here and bitch about my dog and the shit that happened today and hang out with you guys because I didn't have anything better to do. But I want to tell everybody thank you for popping in here. I mean, we got up to over 50 people there at one time, which was awesome, you know, for a Tuesday night. But you know, I got some stuff planned for this week. This weekend, I'll do a stream, do a members only. Hopefully a canning stream. No guarantee on the canning party. I'm going to try. We'll see what happens. But I'm definitely going to fit in a members stream. And Native and I are also, I think Native, me, Tribe, Hutch, and Backwoods are going to do, and I'm going to go ahead and spill the beans, Native, if you're still here. Native wants to do a stream on March the 1st as a countdown, and one of the 5 of us, is going to do a stream every single day, counting down to the rendezvous on the 24th. To kind of keep everybody constantly updated on who's coming, who's not coming, any changes, the whole 9 yards. So we're going to do like a countdown from March to the 24th.
But I literally paid for the ticket last night. Like, I'm done. I'm in.
Awesome.
I'm in. Last night, paid for the whole thing. The whole flight and the rental car and everything we paid for last night.
Yes. Sweet. Leslie, hope we made your day a little better. You did. Hanging out with you guys always makes me feel better because, I have issues with people in general. But hanging out with you guys always makes me feel better. And I do apologize for not paying attention to the chat that much tonight. I was kind of distracted. And anytime I get people on the panel and we going back and forth, it's kind of hard to do the chat. And I do apologize for that. I'll try to get better at it. I really will.
I had the TV up, but you said I had a feedback even though I had it on 0. And I turned it off, so I couldn't pay attention to the cat. Sorry, guys.
It's all right. Monique says, Virginia, what about your flight?
Got a few in sight.
She's working on it. I know she is. She got it.
If she can make it, I'm pretty sure she'll be there. If she can't, it is what it is. That's a long way to go. And she has family and responsibilities, so it is what it is.
Yeah.
So
I feel like Virginia's gonna be there. Just saying.
If she's not there in person, she will definitely be there in spirit. So.
Shards extra.
All right. Well, guys and girls, I'm gonna stick a fork in this, and I'm gonna go have an adult beverage and try to get some sleep and do this again tomorrow, and then. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, I'm going to spend in the print shop. I've still got to build my cabinet, my drying cabinet. I've still got to build my exposure box. Got to get everything set up to get these shirts printed up for the rendezvous. So it's going to be awesome.
We're having shirts? What?
Oh, yeah. We're having one-off shirts. If you actually show up to the rendezvous, yeah, there's going to be shirts available for you guys that there's going to be a one-off shirt that the only way you can get the shirt is that you were actually there.
I was going to say, wait a minute. What do you mean if I actually show up? I booked my ticket and I'm going to be there. Oh.
Yeah, we're working on the design right now. It's going to be one-off. The only way you can get it is to actually be there. And then we'll have shirts for, obviously anybody else that wants to purchase one. But we'll have actual specific rendezvous shirts. The only way you get the shirt is if you actually showed up to the rendezvous. So
Virginia, she's coming. I know
working on that right now. But I'm actually it's gonna be cool. We'll have a lot of cool stuff. So we'll see what happens. It is what it is.
Awesome.
We've got to work it all out, but got a lot of ideas going on. Just running out of time to get it all done.
Right.
We'll work it out. But guys and girls, thanks for hanging out with me. I appreciate it. And I'm going to get off here and relax for a little bit. Thanks, Roots, for coming up. Thanks, Nikki. Backwoods, hope you got your leak fixed. Maybe you should get some Chevy pipes instead of those Ford pipes. Those fuckers break all the time. But it is what it is. All right, you guys have a good night. I'm going to sign off. I'm going to go get some rest.
Bye. Night, y'all.
I'll see you later. Thanks, guys. Y'all be good.
Peace.